Now this is a message that came to me today. It was in form of a dream which came in the morning. I was in a somewhat subconscious state when some sleep swept over me, and this is what happened. There was a lady who started talking to me about events that were currently happening. She spoke about the earth currently being shaken. She also spoke about this not being disseminated out there in the media. And the shaking was quite intense and notable. She cited as an example a local hospital at a place called Diani. I'll not mention the name of the hospital for obvious reasons. And she was using it as an example. And as she spoke of the hospital, I could see in my thoughts that the hospital was built to withstand considerable shaking. It was a strong structure. And she said, look at this place, for example. It has gotten some considerable damage from the shaking of the earth that has been going on. I could see, as she narrated, that the building, especially the fixtures like the windows, had broken because of the shaking. Now this had not been reported, and now that let me demarcate the end of the dream as that. Now I'm going to start with my understanding of it. Now, being a huge population upon the earth, there are some things that are being kept from us for the purpose of keeping the masses from going into a frenzy out of panic, or from going into chaos because of what is happening. Because what's happening is enough to, if everybody knew what was happening, it will bring some semblance or actual instability, because people will start looking up to the heavens and away from the men that are upon the earth. Now, I've had a lot of people talking about a new world order and talking about a new form of control that is coming, but that is not what my understanding is. My understanding is completely different. Remember, as you continue to interpret the happenings of this earth, the coming age that is coming after the age that we are in, because the Lord said that this generation will not pass until we see the coming of the Son of Man. And we are at the end of this generation. What is happening right now is that our generation, the last generation of the sinful man, the last generation of the rules of the principalities upon the earth is coming to an end. That does not happen without a shaking. It does not happen without a decimation of a nation that will then be followed by a new order. The new order that is coming is not an order of man. It is an order of Christ. It is the age of Christ that is coming. So, if you want to know what the age of Christ looks like, just go to the Gospels, go to Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Look at his philosophy. What was he talking about? Because he laid the foundations of this coming age when he was here on earth. Now remember the vision of Daniel when the mountain was cut, when the king had dreamt of the big statue, or the man that was made of various forms of metal, and the feet were metal and mixed with miry clay. He said that in the days of this king, the kingdom of God will be established, which happened when Christ came upon the earth. That is when the kingdom of God was established. And that kingdom will continue to grow, and it will crush the kingdom at its feet. Now, we are at the point of that crushing, and that mountain that is crushing that kingdom is the kingdom of God. So that's where we are going next. We are going to the kingdom of God. We are going to the age of Christ. What is coming is not bondage, but freedom. What is coming is not a world of hate, but of love, peace, of joy. So do not be misled by kicks of a dying horse, because that's all that it is. It's kicks of a dying horse. Remember that when Christ was born, the King of the universe was trotting upon the earth. When Herod, I'm not sure what the name of, I think it was Herod. When Herod heard of the birth of a king from the Magi that were coming from the east, his first order was go and kill every child that has been born in Jerusalem, 2 years and below. That is how the devil works. A child has been born, and the messengers of death has been, the order of death has been sent to Jerusalem to destroy all children 2 years and below, just so that they can catch and be able to destroy the next, the kingdom of God as they do it, but it will not succeed. Remember when Israel was getting ready to get out of Egypt, Pharaoh saw that they were getting stronger than their own people, and they became wary of them. And the salvation of God of Israel was drawing near. So what did Pharaoh do? He sent out an order: let all male children that are of the house of Israel be killed. He ordered the midwives of the children of Israel to destroy all male children. This did not manage to stop the move of God. And in fact, Israel became stronger and stronger. And at the end of it, Israel was completely decimated as the plagues were poured onto Egypt one by one, all the way up to the 10th plague. when God finally struck the gods of Egypt. For it is written that I struck Egypt and I struck them together with their gods. So when Israel was coming out of Egypt, there was a change in the principalities of the heavens, a marked change. It was a new era in the heavens. And this is what is happening now. A change is here. And my last post on my blog is about a change. The heavens have changed. And Christ is coming. And I remember when I wrote about my last change, the last change upon the principality in Africa, I was wondering, why am I not seeing an exchange of one with another? And now I'm beginning to understand it's because the principality that is on the earth is not being replaced by another earthly principality. God is taking over his lands. He's taking over his territories. He's taking over his people. That's why we've never had leaders, anything worth writing about. Because our King is the God of heavens himself. Our Prince is the Prince of Peace. So there is nobody that reigns over the people of God, over the people of Israel, over our nations besides God. And I want you to consider this as the earth is being shaken. It has to be shaken. It has to be shaken for the previous nation to fall, because the nation had some foundations upon the earth that need to be uprooted. You don't take over a kingdom and leave its structures intact, because those structures are what were holding the kingdom. So they have to be destroyed. This is common principle when nations are taking over nations. You go in, destroy every structure that supported that kingdom. In fact, most of the early wars started with a siege. You first hold off the food, and you've all heard of the plague of the locusts. You've all heard of the way the most damaged sector in this economy will be food production. Somewhat food production is going through a phase that it may never recover from. Food is being taken from the table. There's a siege on the supplies of the city of Babylon. The king has drawn near. So I want to report today that it's not the last hour. There is no time. There's no further minute to wait. There's no other day to wait for Christ to come. The time is now. There is no more time.